caught it there. I just went through there. It's about 280k. They are two-heated competitors. This kid is dynamite. They've done it again.
Hello and welcome to Inside Supercars. It's race week. Bit going on in the sport, so lots to chat about tonight as we preview the Castrol Gold Coast 600. To do that, we are joined on the panel by one of the legends of the game, Fox Sports' own Mark Scaife. Welcome to you. A couple of award-winning journos are with us tonight as well, in James Phelps and Mark Fogarty. Great to have both of them back on the panel. And delighted to have with us David Reynolds from Erebus Motorsport and DJR Team Penske's Scott Pye. Welcome, guys. Excited about a big weekend on the GC?
We're not. You didn't call us award-winning.
Oh, would you like to be award-winning? I think we can just create that. I'll make a little notation of that here.
What award would that be?
The
Shuey Award. You started it, didn't you? You were the
Silliest
man.
Bloke Award, I don't know.
Yeah. One of those.
One of those ones.
Now, a short time ago, a hearing began in Melbourne, and it focuses on an appeal against the severity of the penalty handed down to Jamie Whincup and Red Bull Racing Australia after the much publicised incident nearing the end of the Bathurst 1000 about 10 days ago. So we obviously need to let that play out. There are effectively legal proceedings there. The team from Fox Sports News are on site, so we'll have regular updates for you throughout the course of the night, and you can stay up to date on the Supercars website too. This could take up to 14 days before we have some sort of finding handed down, and it could go even further. It could go all the way to the FIA as well. So we'll let that play and debrief it, I think, in more detail when the time is right here on the program. What we should do is congratulate Jono Webb and Will Davison. It was a bit difficult for them on the show last week, wasn't it, to fully crack the champagne corks in some respects, wasn't it?
Well, it was, but it was one of those things for them that, you know, they'd seen all the drama unfold. There was obviously a lot of controversy at the back of it. It was almost, here's the winners and here's the drama playing out. But for these guys, they did a great job, and Will Davison to hold off Van Gisbergen at the end, that was a magnificent drive. With a little fuel cough right at the end there also.
That would have been scary.
That would have been scary.
And a little celebration. It's become kind of Aussie tradition unfolded too,
Can
didn't
I
it?
just... I've got to pull Dave up. Something you did, mate. It's become a worldwide sensation. It's gone global. Since your shoey, we've had Mark Webber do it. We've had Ricciardo do it. And we've had the Cronulla Sharks. It's gone everywhere. But did you really start it, mate? You're the first person that I saw do it, but a youth driver called Ryle.
I can't take all credit. I actually stole it off Ryle Harris.
So it was,
he did
in
it.
fact.
Yeah, it was Ryle. He did it at a ute race.
What would be going through your brain to think that would be okay?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What did it take out of a mongrel old shoe?
Well, if you know me, I don't think very well. So I just do.
As Dan Ricciardo and Webber, have they gotten it right? Are they doing it the right way? You're happy with their execution?
No, it's all good, but you got to do it when you win. You can't do it when you're second.
What does it taste like? It can't be good, can it?
Anything tastes good when you're on the podium.
Yeah. Champagne tastes better with shoes, my friend.
So this weekend, mate, shoey.
You reckon? Hang on, you reckon
No,
champagne tastes better out of an old race shoe?
Well, it doesn't taste very good anyway, so, you know, anything you add to it's going to improve its taste.
I think if you've got the silverware, it'll always taste good, won't it, out of the,
I don't care when
the shoe.
And you know that Ryle Harris was inspired by basically a group of his drunken mates up on the Gold Coast.
We've been doing it since we've been at school, so it's not a new thing.
How old, mate? How
it's
old?
been
Champagne out of a boot? How long?
Last year?
Well, it's been around for. It's a country thing to do. I grew up in Albury-Wodonga, and you know, it's just a country lad thing to do. It's just stupid. It's a drinking game, really.
Anyway, it's gone crazy viral. I think the Mad Huey's reposted it and all that sort of stuff, which is just tremendous. Let's talk a bit of serious racing stuff now. What about DJR Team Penske and the debrief for you guys after the 1000? Top 5 results for both cars, but late in the game we were wondering whether you could have jagged a podium.
Yeah, we lost an opportunity there, I think, during the day. We really only backed one car that day, and that hurt me a lot. So for us, you know, I think it was about 50 to go, and you know, we probably should have pitted, but we didn't. We stayed out under safety car when I was leading under that. I think there was a little stint between the two safety cars. And yeah, I should have pitted, but instead, you know, we pitted 12. I pitted the next lap, and that lap behind safety car really hurt us. But to come away 5th was the best case scenario we could have achieved that day, given circumstances. So I had a good race with Fabs right up to the end, and it was tough. He was on the green tyres at the end, so I was just braking as deep as possible, and terrible exits, but he can't pass on exits. So it was a good battle to the end. We've had a good laugh about it since.
Roger was mighty blown away by the place, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I mean, I think the way the fans really engaged with that event blew him away the most. You know, I think that it doesn't matter what lap it is. It can be towards the middle of the race when everyone would think that that's the most boring time of the race. But as soon as a move happens, the fans are up, they're cheering, they're right behind the race the whole way to the flag. And I think that surprised him, you know, as well, getting the opportunity to do the lap with Dick in the car. It looked pretty reasonably paced. I'm sure they both would have preferred to go a lot quicker than that. But, you know, I think it just gives you that appreciation for the event you don't get on TV.
How about Scotty? He thinks of everything. So DJ goes to the top of the hill, hasn't been up there for years, and you just back straight in front of him.
I know.
Just reverse straight up.
I know. And,
hey, Dick, with the mirror.
I was just showing off, that's all, really. Just showed him that I can back it in, leave it in fourth gear, land and
drive off.
But, I mean, I don't know. I think it's like the first time in 20 years the guy's been to the top of the mountain.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's standing right in front of me when I went in.
Roger Penske coming to Bathurst, that's a bit like Muhammad going to the mountain, and he would have been well impressed because the team was competitive. It was a good sign for the future, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think that day the team performed really well, especially in the pits. You know, Clipsal, from where we've come from there, we gave away a lot of times, a lot of the lap time and stuff in the pits, and that hurt our race. And I think the Bathurst, you know, the crew is really on display there, and they all did a faultless job all day. And you know, I think our race pace was pretty good, qualifying speed was good. Great to have both cars in the shootout. I think the first time since early 2000s, DJ's had 2 cars in the 10 in the shootout. So for us, it was a pretty solid weekend. And when you walk away from that event thinking that there was a few opportunities you could have maximised a little better, and that would have put you on the podium, it's been a good day. So yeah, both cars in the top 6 is a good result.
Folks, you mentioned the future at that team, and I don't think bloke over here particularly cares too much about what happens after the next 3 races. But this was the big news story before Bathurst. Obviously, it's been overshadowed by some other things that have gone on. But of course, you're going to be with HRT next year, and this all happened in the aftermath of Sandown after Garth 10-1, and he found out he was no longer in the team. We found out you were there, and it caused a bit of a stir about how it all went down. But I was just wondering if you'd let us know when it sort of all did happen. I mean, I'm understood that it sort of happened quickly after Sandown.
The timing was good, though, because it meant that we could get it out well before Bathurst, and then all the hype was gone. There was no, you know, I rocked up at Bathurst, no one's talking about it anymore, and we could all just focus on our objectives. And, you know, obviously Garth at Sandown said that he had plans already, and I think that might have prompted the team to.
What did you think when he said he had plans?
I didn't
did you
even
think
know
it was
about
with HRT?
Oh no, I hadn't heard about that. So I didn't even know he had said anything. So yeah, I mean, it did come about very quickly, but we weren't planning on rushing into releasing it or anything like that. There was no hurry really from my point of view. As the driver, you know, I'm happy to have it locked away. I'm not that worried about everyone knowing about it. I knew what I was doing, and I was happy with that. But obviously, you know, when Garth said he had plans, then the team wanted to obviously be the first.
How long's the contract? This is the first time that you've actually been locked in for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Congratulations for that, mate. It must be good going into the off-season knowing that you've got a driver.
Well, it's actually the second multi-year deal I've had, but the first one was obviously cut short with the Penske buying into DJ. So this one's for 3 years. And it's awesome for the team as well. You know, they got James locked in for 3 as well. And I think it's come at a good time for them as well. You know, with Holden leaving, it was good to have some good news. You know, it was great for all the guys at the shop and everything like that to have something to get excited about, come off the back of a great result at Sandown. And I think
they're getting excited about you coming over there.
Pardon? Careful, mate.
You said that it happened in a hurry, but you're actually in the frame for a while. We mentioned it on the show a couple of weeks at least before you got signed up. It's a lifeline. You're going to grab it, but you're stepping into the great unknown, aren't you? Because it's not HRT as we knew it.
Well, I mean, they had just won, when I did my release, they had just won the round 2 days before as well at Sandown. Bathurst, had it not been for the crash, I think that they would have been on again for another great result. You know, Clipsal every year, they do really well. Townsville, the big races, they do a mega job. I think, you know, the sprint rounds is where they want to work on, but of all the teams that were available, certainly I think where I'm at the moment, I think it could be a step forward for the time being, and I'm really excited about where we're going. I think we've got a good group of guys that are well motivated there. So moving forward, I think, you know, it's the best possible situation for me. I don't see it as a lifeline. I think that, you know, with James, we've got 3 years now to work together, move the team forward, and at the end of that, we want to tick some pretty big boxes.
What was the outcome of the debrief at Erebus heading into the Gold Coast this weekend from Bathurst?
Yeah, so like Bathurst didn't go to plan. Obviously, we had a tail shaft drama. The tail shaft was put in 1 mil out, which, you know, when the tail shaft's really long, it's going to put pressure on the centre mount, and the centre mount ended up breaking. So it's a good thing that things like this happen, because then we can put procedures in place that things don't happen like that again. So yeah, it was our first race with Al. Al's done a fantastic job to come in, 3 days before the biggest race, and and help us with the car and stuff. But
you felt the difference from that? You felt the...
Yeah, definitely. It was a totally different setup than what we normally run, and it was at the start of the weekend pretty edgy. But as the track sort of gripped up, the car really came alive. So
much so that you had some good lap times toward the end of the
day.
Yeah,
we had a decent crack at the lap record. That was our objective, I suppose. But I wasn't in the race, so it didn't really mean much. But if the car was pacey at the end, I wish I was in with a chance to fight.
What was the feeling like in the garage after Will Davison won, remembering that he was the man that quit his contract, walked out on that team to say he wanted to be competitive, and then he's won Bathurst? I mean, a few people sort of looking at him going,
In what regard?
Well, how did they feel about him winning Bathurst after he walked out on that team?
Will qualified, I think, 17th. I qualified 14th. We were sort of racing him for most of the day until we had our drama. So I don't think it changed the feeling, or I'm not really sure what you're asking, Ace.
Well, I mean, he spoke about it, saying that I left that team because they weren't competitive, and here it is, I've validated my decision by joining Techno. We've won Bathurst. Look at them, they're in 17th and 18th place. And I know a few people are sort of unhappy about him mentioning that, but you being the driver, you've taken up Will's spot.
Yep.
Where's the future for you? How long till we see you up there doing that?
Well, we've just got to band together a bit better and make a better package and develop a better car. That's all we have to do. That's all racing is. You just got to have more grip and more power than everyone, and you win races.
It's a very, very good summary, mate.
It's just very simplistic, isn't it? It is. That's how my brain works.
I always tell my engineer, just give me more power and more grip. Yeah, that's all I want.
I'll be at the front. Watch me.
And don't spend your life looking in the rearview mirror about other things.
Or yourself.
So tell me, yourself. What about post Sandown though? Because the whole, getting Beardo to do the minimum laps and things like that, that was a bit of a...
yeah, it was a bit of a drama for us. I back our team regardless of any decision they make, and in the steward's eyes they made the wrong decision. But when the rule I got done on was something like it was a third minimum resting time. It was a really bizarre rule that we didn't understand. So we pulled him in early because the race got shortened, and we got done for that, and we got excluded, which is not ideal. But if I was reading the rules, I probably would have done the same thing, because it works in the other way. Like they specify 1/3 and 2/3, and you can't do less than 1/3 and maximum of 2/3. But the race was shortened, so if I did 2/3 of the maximum straight away, we wouldn't have made the distance. We would have got done anyway. So
I'm confused.
Hey?
I'm confused.
No, well, it's not prorated. So basically that stays. The number stays. So, I mean, it is a technical thing. We're all feverishly looking through books. There's a lot of other teams doing the same. Easy one to get caught out on.
Very easy.
The reality of it is you did, and that's just, play on, no drama.
Unfortunately.
What about Gold Coast now? So you've had good results there over the years. It's a cool
Gold
place.
Coast is one of my favourite events. Like, it's such a good race, big party town.
They're bolting down pot plants as we speak.
Flower pots and shoeys.
The best celebration I ever did was when I stole the Armor All Hammer guy. Are they going to play it? I hope so.
Yeah.
And I sack-tapped Dean Canto.
You can't say that.
I doubled him over on the
Sorry, we've got you explain the shoey. What's this one?
No, sorry, no. You don't need to go on with it, Phelpsy. You don't need to go on with it. It's all right. Just a gentle rub.
That's the ghoulie.
Whatever you call him, but it was awesome. There's a big Armor All guy. Sorry. So anyway, back to serious stuff.
Where do you get these silly stuff from?
I'm just an idiot, really.
Don't change. We love it. That's great.
Good.
That's very good. Very good.
Just trying to enjoy myself and in my job, and everyone has a laugh with me or at me. It doesn't bother me.
So you like the atmosphere there? We've established that.
Yeah, it's a really
what
good
about
atmosphere.
your chances going into the weekend?
Well, synonymously, we have, HRT cars are quite fast there, but our car's slightly different. But there's no reason why we can't go there and have a strong showing. Like, I love that track. I always seem to drive well there. I don't know, I take a lot of risks through the back chicane where you can make up time, and I don't know, hopefully we can be somewhere up the front.
Scapey will take a closer look at the track in the next segment, but what about for you guys? You feel like the cars this year, knowing where you've gone, how you've progressed so far in 2016, will it suit?
Yeah, I think so. We made good progress last year there as well. I mean, on the Saturday we didn't qualify so well. Sunday, I think I was 6th or 7th. And but got a PL. Yeah, so I mean we had a good race car by the end of the weekend. I got a PLP though, I think, on Sunday, and that hurt our race. But yeah, I think we have a good car. Like Dave said, there's a few places where if you're willing to hang it on the line, if you've got a good car, you can make up a lot of time around there. And you know, I always find that place, if the car is strong, you've got confidence to clear the brake, get the thing turned in and not worry about those exit walls. You just, yeah, I mean, you can focus on your exits and drag a lap time out of it. So, yeah, hopefully the car's, that must be Marcus driving at that point, I think.
To drive, it's actually probably one of the best tracks we go to, besides Bathurst, because you get so close to the fence and the curbs are so big, and you know, the car's got a lot of action to it.
These tracks are rewarding. When you drag a lap time out of it, there's actually an adrenaline rush out of it. You finish qualifying, and if you've really maximised it, you've had a heap of close calls.
There's real risk versus reward, isn't it?
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll take a look at that in more detail after the commercial break. You're watching Inside Supercars. We'll be back in a moment.
Bathurst may have ended abruptly for him.
Oh, no, they're all gone! They're all gone! Tanders off!
But the Castrol Gold Coast 600 is reason for celebration for the Holden Racing Team's Garth Tander. The big man racks up his 250th championship round, joining Craig Lowndes and Russell Ingall in this very exclusive club. But the 2007 champion becomes the first to make all of his 250 starts aboard a Holden. He's been a Commodore kid ever since debuting at Phillip Island back in 1998. Another celebrating 250 rounds in Queensland is longtime team owner Rod Nash. Now part owner of ProDrive Racing Australia, Nash's own racing entitlements contract underpins the number 55 Super Cheap Auto entry of Chaz Mostert. Debuting as an owner-driver back in 1998, Nash stepped out of the cockpit in 2001 and since 2010 has had his entry run out of ProDrive. It was the number 55 entry that took victory on the coast in 2013, complete with a celebration only David Reynolds could produce. DJR Team Penske Enduro pilot Tony D'Alberto finished 5th at Bathurst and will make his 100th round start when he pairs up with Scott Pye on the coast. A full-time driver for 6 years, he's the 42nd driver in history to achieve the century in our championship. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the annual Gold Coast Street Race event. Originally held for IndyCars back from 1991, the event is now in its 7th year with the 600 Supercars endurance format. Just one man, Frenchman Sébastien Bourdais, can claim to have won in both IndyCar and Supercars on the concrete-lined surface streets. James Courtney and Jack Perkins grabbed their own piece of GC history last year. Their Sunday win, from 11th on the grid, was the first time a Supercars race had been won from beyond position 6.
And Courtney is a winner on the streets of Surface Paradise. You beauty. Perkins wins his first 2.
Close finishes are cool. The best we've seen on the coast was Sunday in 2010, as now teammates Jamie Whincup and Shane Van Gisbergen took it all the way to the flag in the closest Supercars finish ever seen on the coast.
It's a duel for the lead. The Kiwi against the defending series champion. This is an almighty dive into the chicane. Oh, they make contact. Car number 1 pops out in front. Whincup takes victory in a race to remember.
You'd be a safe chance of predicting that the Lexus RCF safety car will appear on the Gold Coast too. After all, the last Supercars race held there without a yellow flag period was race 2, way back 2007.
It never fails to deliver, and we cannot wait to get up to the Gold Coast for this weekend's round. So let's take a look at the updated Drivers' Championship standings for you. Now, we've talked at the beginning of the program tonight about the fact that there is a hearing in play, but this is as things currently stand. Van Gisbergen on top after the Bathurst 1000 by 139 points. Craig Lowndes on 319. Will Davison has moved to 4th ahead of Scotty McLaughlin, and Mark Winterbottom now 6th, some 616 points behind in the title defence. Pertec Enduro Cup's worth checking out too, and it is a slender margin, Scafey, heading into the final race meeting of the Enduro Cup.
Yeah, it'll be a great battle. One at Van Gisbergen and Prema there, only 6 points adrift. And whatever happens, we just saw so much drama there, didn't we, in that little piece? I'm going to show you a bit more in a second, but it's a wild place, and anything can happen with 300 points on the line on Sunday.
We'll take a look at some of the combos and perhaps consider for a moment who may be strong on the streets of Surfers. So things don't change. Dean Cantor remains with Mark Winterbottom for this weekend's races. Warren Luff and Garth Tander, although it was a heartbreaking end to Bathurst for them, we know they're strong in the Pertec Enduro Cup.
Certainly are, and again, Garth Tander, Warren Luff won this last year, and Todd Kelly, young Matt Campbell for his first run around the streets. Jason Bright, Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones had a big moment into the fence there a couple of years ago at turn 2. And as we run through the list, there are probably 10 combinations that can win this weekend. I always love this in terms of how wide and diverse the number of potential winners are for this street race.
What's the strength you want in your co-driver at Surfers?
Stay off the fence.
Stay off the fence. And leave that right-hand mirror out, so when I leave pit lane I can see what's going on.
What do you reckon, guys? We can have a Jamie versus Shane battle like we just saw on screen with Garth and Scott.
That was cool.
Behind them looking for a bit of revenge. Wouldn't that set it up nicely?
Yeah.
Well, whatever happens with the outcome of the appeal, championship-wise, it's going to be on between Jamie and Shane. I would think it's a 2-horse race now. Surfers Paradise is going to be, again, decisive. I think Bathurst will prove to be the turning point. But who do you back there? Because they've both got good form.
They're both very good there. It's hard to sort of split them apart. So
I'm gonna probably say. Do you mean just for this weekend or the championship?
Well, both.
Yeah. I'd probably say Shane. I think Jamie at Homebush, you know, Shane has been very strong there.
Good, yeah.
And I know Jamie's had some rough trots there, but
is anyone else?
I think Shane could get up there.
Is Lownsy out of it? 300 odd behind?
Probably, yeah.
I think so. 1, 2, 3 for Triple Eight's probably enough anyway.
There was only ever a 2-horse race at the start of the year, I reckon.
Earlier in the year, we spoke about it on the show, so you really felt that the strength of 6 championships will be Jamie's big thing in the back end here, didn't you, of the season?
I do. I still think that Dumbrell will be the standout co-driver this weekend, and that always bodes well. Remember, Prema had a drama with Scotty McLaughlin last year in the back chicane and pulled the left-hand front. Well, actually, it was a right-hand front corner, but it ended up having the whole air dam dislodged. So I reckon the form leading in, you can't discount those guys. Dumbrell has been very fast with Jamie.
Obviously, with Sandown and Bathurst, they were one-shot deals in terms of points, but we have 2 races this weekend. So practice starts on Friday, and then we have 2 features, if you like, just over 100 laps each, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. So there is a chance to bounce back, but this was a turning point in some respects last year. The outcome of the Pertec Enduro Cup was affected by what happened on the streets of the Gold Coast, and it was a big one as far as Frosty's championship was concerned too, wasn't it?
Certainly was, and one of the things out of this is that when you've got the 150 in terms of points, you've got to make sure that you don't knock the car around on the Saturday. Because one of the things that happens at the Gold Coast, if you have a big one, you don't make Sunday's race. So it can be a 300-point weekend. So Saturday's about risk management, making sure that you're in good order for Sunday.
And it's a place that is brutal, as we've seen over the years on race cars. If you boys were saying before about wanting a co-driver that keeps it off the walls, when this happens, it can be big.
Certainly can. Can you do that trick, Dave? Can you drive off with the tyre on the roof?
I don't want to do that ever.
This was lucky.
Luckily, I've never hit that fence there.
Well, I don't reckon I've ever seen anyone spin there and not tear a corner out of it.
Done a good job. Win Cup gets away with everything.
Stay on it. Stay up it.
This was big. That was big.
I hope they don't show me.
Reminds me, one of my greatest memories of this place is old Gary selling all the broken bits and pieces out the back of his garage. He had them all price tagged up. And
if you're Win Cup and Van Gisbergen, at this stage in the championship, is this now the time to go for broke, or are you driving for the title?
Risk management this weekend. This one's one that can bite you badly. And as I said, you can have a crash on Saturday and not make the weekend. So this is a big one. This is for both those guys. How does Jamie creep some points back, and how does Shane keep the gap at 130 odd?
Obviously, the circuit's changed a little from the original IndyCar layout of over 20 years ago, but here Mark Scaife takes an overview for us of this weekend's circuit.
Located in the heart of the Gold Coast is one of Australia's toughest racetracks. There is absolutely no room for error on this 2.98k layout. 15 turns, average speed just under 150 kilometres an hour. Even the main straight has a kink in it. 265 kilometres an hour at the end of the main straight into turn 1. back to 110k, accelerating up to 160k for the hairpin. Slowest corner, first gear, 60 kilometres an hour. Accelerate the car, slide the car onto the beach straight. You've got to get into single file before this one. This is one of the wildest parts of the track, 245 kilometres an hour. Get it set for turn 6 and 7. Make sure that you line this up. Get across the curb. Use a huge amount of curb at 8 and 9. 145k, accelerating up to 195k into the left-hander. Second gear, 80k, up to 135k. Second gear again. Only a short distance between the left and right. Again, up to 160k for the final tricky braking area, turn 14. 62 kilometres an hour. Slide the car, get yourself in position. Get a run on the next guy. Get up the inside. It's another passing spot at the end of the main straight. Again, to 265k. This is a fantastic little racetrack.
Scafey, it is only for the brave, but gee, it's a great track if you get it right, isn't it?
Well, as the boys have already described, Rusty, if you do a really good lap, you get a reward for that amount of effort and that level of commitment. But a little mistake, and there is big consequences. So let's just have a look at the start, because we saw a little bit of the vision before, and it's about 450 metres from pole position down to the turning point. But have a look at this. This is the chaos that we saw one of the Gary Rogers cars turned over. This is young Ricky Taylor. That actually looked more severe at the time than I thought it was, but it was basically caused by a stoppage and a little blip, this curved start, and there's no room. So even in that area there, one little mistake, it bites you very quickly. As you can see there, parked upside down, there's another view, a little bit of contact with Irwin Falcon, and then turned over. 3 little rolls, and actually went right up on the debris fencing there on the left-hand side. This was one that got Greg Murphy into the side of car 15 and just turned him straight into the fence. Similar thing. There's no room there. You can see the level of congestion is massive. So once you get off the line, as I said, a bit over 400 metres down to the turning point for turn 1, 2, 3, but it's very easy to make a mistake on the way in there and overrun the corner. We saw a couple of those in our previous vision. But one of the things that's really important is the braking area's got a kink. And sometimes when you have a car coming out of the pit, you're trying to locate the car in front of the next car. That caught Garth Tander there in 2010. That's heavy contact. Straight in. We've actually moved those tyres further around the wall there now. This was the Andrew Jones one. And as I said to David Reynolds before, I'm not sure whether you could do this trick where you pop the tyre onto the roof and drive along. As I said, very easy to make a little mistake there. Now, the one that's a bit controversial, when we shorten the circuit, this is the southern end of the track, we turn it right next to where the train line runs on the right, and again, at turn 4, one of the tightest corners on the circuit. This was Villeneuve, who had a gyration. He gasses it up, and then the whole field pretty much run into him. Check this out for a gaggle of cars. Damage everywhere. Bang, there's the FPR Falcon into the back of it, then the BOC Commodore in the front of it. HRT car hurt, but this battle was the one I wanted to highlight. This is one of the best races we've ever seen. Van Gisbergen in the Falcon, Jamie in the Commodore, they were at it, lap after lap after lap. They ran through the first chicane, they were bumping each other on the way back up to the beach chicane, and it was one of the great races around the streets of Surfers Paradise. One of the best bits of the track is actually up at the other end, at the northern end, and where David Reynolds said earlier in the show about level of commitment through the beach chicane. It's quite fast. It's got a really weird camber on the braking approach. You slide the car to the corner, and once you get the car to the corner, it's about how you then use as much curb as you possibly can without tipping over on the... Well, we have lots of drama in terms of contact. There's Dumbrell who got Greg Murphy, but also not triggering the sensors. And the two-wheel action we've seen here over the years, this is fantastic stuff. This was the Prema incident with the damage to the front of the S60, and that pulled the right-hand front right out of it. And this is Fiore and Caruso right up on two wheels. Great body language of the cars through there. And mid-corner speed is the crucial part about flowing the car in that zone. And then to end the lap, it's very easy to make a mistake at turn 14. You get turned on a little weird kink where you break the car around the kink, hold the car to the right, and then when you make the change of direction, you've got to turn it and turn it really precisely. This is Dave with Moff, and they're having a little bump, but it's a little spot where you can actually get the nose of the car up the inside, and this is the zone. This is Ingle, bang, into the tyre wall. It's really easy to lock a wheel, lose the steering, and run it wide. And this is, as I said, the spot where you've got to be really precise, back to first gear, get the car turned. And this was Shane and McLaughlin last year. And this is where you can just sneak the nose of the car up there. Little bump, little bit of contact, and then that puts you on the inside down there for turn 1. So even the main straight has got this big, long kink in it. It's one of the most difficult in terms of the physicality of the joint. You can't make a mistake. And as I said, Rusty, the consequences are huge.
Yeah, they are, Scapey. Thank you. And we'll have all of it covered for you right here on Fox Sports across the weekend. And don't forget, once the Pertec Enduro Cup wraps up, we are heading into flyaway mode. We're off to Auckland for the ITM Auckland Super Sprint from the 4th to the 6th of November. Get your tickets from ticketek.co.nz, and there's some great things available there too, including 3-day Platinum Reserve Grandstand tickets. And if you buy before November 1, there is a Greg Murphy endorsed lanyard and ticket pouch, and also to a chance to meet Greg Murphy on the Saturday there. You'll go to the draw if you're a grandstand ticket holder. We need a commercial break here on Inside Supercars. And don't forget too, this is the place where you can catch Supercars live.
Every Bathurst, as you come over the crest for the last time and see Mount Panorama, you just hit you, you know. This is Bathurst week. This is the biggest week of the year.
Wingcup has just broken the lap record. He's like a machine out there at the moment. The fastest lap ever of a supercar around Mount Panorama. A master at work.
It's one of those days where I still get the butterflies, I still get the nerves. Really, this is still the only place that conjures up those sorts of emotions.
There's nothing else like it. Whilst it's not the last race of the year, it certainly has that mystique and prestige.
I've got absolutely no regrets of what's happened here last year, the year before, 2013. I'm not dwelling on the past. I haven't changed my mentality at all, although it's highly publicised and everyone's smashing me for a few mistakes. There's no way I'm going to allow that to change the way I go about my sport, the way I compete. I think Craig is very similar to Brocky in many ways. He goes above and beyond, making sure that he brings as many people along on this big wave or this big roller coaster that is the current icon of our sport, which is Craig Lowndes.
It was an amazing emotional roller coaster for me in 06. It definitely will be in this year for 16. So who knows what this weekend will hold. Redress.
Congestion at the back of the pit lane there.
Go. Slow, go. Slow, go. Merge. You're on. Behind 22.
And look at this, they're side by side in the lane. You've got Caruso on the inside, McLaughlin on the outside.
What's Caruso doing?
And no one's yielding here.
What's he supposed to do here?
They can't do that. The rules don't permit you to do that. Contact. Now, that's not going to be seen favourably in race control as they try and resolve that one.
That's no way. No way. Mate, we'll get straight onto it. We'll get a pit lane. Just chill, mate. Did I go past? That's cool. Mate, just keep cool. It's not going to be all good.
I'll let the motorsport department work that one out.
What's the story of Caruso? Nothing yet, mate. Nothing yet. We've just got to stick with where we are, buddy.
A pit lane penalty for car 23 for a pit lane infringement.
All right, mate, I got some really bad news. You get a pit lane penalty for that merge. You're going to have to come for the pit lane this lap, mate. What is four sometimes? I really can't believe it. Good job, buddy. Robbo's got a pit lane penalty, mate. Copy. I wish I could talk to you guys about this, honestly. How they let that man get Ferguson go, punch me off the track, lose a spot, that's okay. Where's the grade 1? Oh, yeah, no grade 1. It's a grey rule, as always, mate. It's the colour of the car, I hate to tell you.
Just some of the radio chat was pretty busy on the channels during the Bathurst 1000. That was a biggie, and we know the outcome in penalty terms, but should they have addressed that sooner?
Parked him straight behind there straight away. I mean, they knew they were in strife. That was the classic redress.
Yeah. We spoke about it in a previous segment about some of the combinations. We gave you all of them for this weekend's Castrol Gold Coast 600. But let's zero down on a couple of key ones now and why they're important going into this weekend's final round of the Pertec Enduro Cup. So firstly, to the winners of the Bathurst 1000, Jono Webb and Will Davison. It's a narrow lead, Scafey, in Enduro Cup terms, and it's going to be a heck of a battle for these guys, isn't it?
It will be, and I think there's a lot of pressure on Jonathan Webb, you know, because he doesn't do that much racing. And these joints, because it's so congested, really easy to make a mistake in the traffic. We saw all those incidents off the start. So for me, this weekend for Will Davison and Jonathan Webb's all about damage control. Don't get involved in all the chaos.
It's a big test for the Techno team. They've got some form there. The Giz was pretty strong when he was driving for them. But this is their chance to prove that they can keep the momentum going after that great run at Bathurst. So I think it'll give us a good window into how that team is actually progressing. And traditionally, that team has come on strong at the end of the seasons.
Yep. Shane Van Gisbergen and Alex Premer have done a very good job together with Red Bull Racing Australia across Sandown and the Bathurst 1000. Do they play the long game here and concentrate on the Drivers' Championship, or is it go for broke on the streets of surface?
Can Shane play the long game? I think he's just all or nothing. He's not going to take his foot off that pedal.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Red Bull will control Premer better than last year in terms of the damage across the curbs, etc. So he's been coached or nurtured through really well so far, and I think that's probably a pretty important part of Shane's weekend.
Yeah, he's done pretty well. Sandown and Bathurst, there were concerns expressed beforehand about partnering with Shane Van Gisbergen, but Premer, so far, faultless.
He hasn't put a foot wrong.
No.
Yeah.
A couple of others that are definitely worthy of note, and that is Lucas Dumbrell Motorsport. Cameron McConville effectively coming out of retirement, having a top 10 result at Sandown and then finishing on the podium at Mount Panorama. Did a very good job with Nick Percat. Those guys, I think very fair to say, punching above their weight, weren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, you think that was a great result for them to get onto the podium, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think that, they've had some good runs there as well. Yeah. We finished up 6th, and it's such a good feeling to do that with a small team, you know. And everyone, they're all working so hard. But I think for Cam as well, he'd been wrapped with that. I mean, to come out of retirement and get on the podium again at Bathurst is awesome. But yeah, they're really punching above their weight for sure.
What more than that? It's a miraculous result for that little team.
I mean, win Clipsal, ended up on the podium at Bathurst. A great
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And didn't Percat talk about almost being pushed across the line by Cam Waters?
They had speed though at Bathurst as well. That was the thing. I was right.
He's running out of fuel.
And in that final step, I mean, Clipsal, was a crazy event. Really odd the way it all panned out. But Bathurst, they genuinely were running in 3rd and held that position. You know, they were in front of me and they had great speed. So. Yeah, it was a well-deserved one and something that I think they'll all be pretty excited about.
It was a very good job by the youngsters in the Pro Drive team, in Jack LeBrock and Cameron Waters, to just miss out on the podium. But what's the thoughts for the reigning champ Mark Winterbottom and Dean Canto heading into this weekend's round?
Yeah, again, they've just lost their pace in terms of race car performance. I just don't know where they're at. It's a serious rut. I mean, they weren't as fast as Mostert even through the course of the race. And this little mistake for Dean, I mean, he just got caught wide. He was on slicks at the wrong time, and that track there would have been like ice at that stage. So that's just a little one that you've just got to put that aside. But their genuine pace is not there at the moment, and it really worries me.
That's a really good point, because a lot of us are saying they're having really bad luck. They haven't had pace, and that bad luck's coming because they're trying different things and pushing too hard in areas.
Yeah, and again, when you get back too far, James, that's what happens. You get sort of half desperate with it. And at the moment, this is a real, big question mark on where their genuine form's gone.
The lead-up for Stephen Richards and for Craig Lowndes, we were expecting a huge amount from them at Bathurst because they were the defending winners, obviously, but their day didn't go to plan at all, did it?
Well, the first time we've ever seen one of the gear shift mechanisms break. Just look near Stevie's elbow there, and we've never seen it shear at a spot like that. In fact, the whole time of the new generation cars, I've never seen one break.
I think they made a change, though, for Craig, and that was more tension than they'd put through the league.
Oh, really?
Before.
Okay. So don't they run a different system? They run that preload system?
Yeah, I think it was more preload than before.
Which should preload it, and something has to break eventually. It's just unfortunate.
It's strange to do it in that spot,
very
isn't it?
strange,
Really weird. Anyway, I mean, it put them out. You could see there. Lounsey was actually on the tools there at one stage. It was good. But again,
after that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But again, for the two most experienced guys, and for that not to work out at Bathurst, you know, they just go and do a really good, solid job. I reckon their experience will serve them well this weekend.
They were top 10 at Sandown, so obviously bouncing back from the DNF at the Mountain, they'll be worth watching. Let's talk about Jamie Whincup and Paul Dumbrell. I mean, PD, as you said before, you know, very strong in co-driver terms coming into this one. You know, they've got to work well together, particularly for Jamie's championship campaign here, don't they?
Well, this was just a little mistake. You know, this was just a seatbelt infringement. We all know that there's plenty of rules around this and the drama that unfolded in the race we've obviously covered. So, at the end of the day, I reckon what it'll do is Jamie and Paul will be absolutely out of control this weekend. They will be pressing on as hard as you possibly can. Yeah. And Dumbrell, of all the co-drivers, as I said, he was a standout at Sandown, and he was very, very good at Bathurst.
We'll grab a commercial break here on Inside Supercars. We'll get some final thoughts from our guests here on the panel and talk a little news as well just after this.
Virgin Australia is the official naming rights partner of the Supercars Championship and the official airline carrier and partner, looking after all of our 26 drivers, 11 teams and everybody in the crews, carrying them throughout Australia and all around the region. Now, frequently we take you on the inside of our race teams. Today we take you somewhere very special, inside Virgin Australia. There's remarkable parallels between professional racing teams and what goes on inside the heart of airline operations. It's a huge backstage effort. It's just like a giant race team inside airline operations. It requires high technology, specialists in various departments, and perfect harmony and teamwork to get the desired outcome. This is the Virgin Operations Control Centre. It's the hub and nerve centre of the airline.
We have around about 220 people. The functions that we provide to the airline are operations control, which manages the aircraft. We have crew control, which manages around 4,500 crew members' rosters. We have flight planning, flight following. We have load control, slot control, and a maintenance division. The operations control team members, they're managing the aircraft movements at any given time. We have around about 130 aircraft on average for 4, 5 or 6 sectors per day.
The Virgin Australia fleet consists of a whole variety of beautiful aircraft. There's the Boeing 777, the Airbus A330, the Boeing 737-800, which constitutes the vast majority of aircraft in the fleet, the Embraer E190, they're all jets, and the turboprop ATR. We're inside the Sim Centre. Waiting is an amazing privilege. My mate Todd Kelly is a fellow pilot. Hey mate,
how you going?
Good to see you from Nissan Motorsport. You've got a Pilatus PC12 with an instrument rating. This is going to be pretty cool.
Well, I've waited my whole life for an opportunity like this. A Boeing 737-800 Virgin plane. Let's go see if we can fly this thing.
Inside awaiting us are two highly qualified captains, Captain Simon Astle and Captain Mike Sullivan. They're both technical pilots for Virgin Australia. They're the guys that have put on magnificent displays for us in recent years at Mount Panorama and done cool things in the real version of this. You ready?
Yep, let's go.
Well, welcome aboard, guys, to the 737-800 Virgin Australia. It's great to have you on board. Before we get started, let's hear your credentials.
Not a hell of a lot for sitting in here, but I've been a private pilot for 12 or so years, and I went ahead and got my instrument rating probably 4 years ago now, and currently flying a Pilatus PC12, which is a really cool bit of gear. Yeah.
I learned to fly when I was 16 years and 9 months, so I learned to fly before I could drive. When I stopped racing with these guys, I picked up flying once again, bought a brand new Cessna 182.
We're just about 10 miles away from the Gold Coast, so we want to do some flying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the autopilot at the moment, so when you're ready, why don't you disengage the autopilot and we can fly an approach.
Should you be doing something over there?
I probably should be. There's probably some point in time we're going to need some flap here, Mike.
Great, flap one.
Flap one, check.
Our friends in the tower at Gold Coast would have cleared us to land.
Yep.
Geez, that runway looks small in one of these things. The palms are ridiculously sweaty right now.
100 above.
100.
Are we off the gas?
Not yet.
50. 40.
We are now.
30.
Idle.
20. 10.
It wasn't right off. This will be a challenge. Sorry, Mike.
I had to put it down quite hard then because someone didn't get off the throttle.
I still had about 30% of power going.
Oh, dear me. Get me a towel.
I'm going to use some brake here, brother.
I thought you were doing that. We had to do that in real life. I would be happy with that.
Nice job, guys.
I didn't actually get it all the way back.
Oh, I'm really sweaty. I'm going to warn you.
Good job. Well done.
Nice job. Todd, nice job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, well done.
We didn't break it. It's great. The simulator's just so realistic, so we could have just as well been in an actual plane on an actual airport, and it was pretty cool to have Mike there talking us through absolutely everything we had to do. I think we did a pretty good job. I reckon we would have been in a bit of strife if Mike wasn't right behind us, though.
November Charlie Alpha, you're required in the commentary box. How much did Croppo love that?
Oh, he'd just be into it. That was top. He looked like flying high. He looked like flying high. He's probably spread up so hard.
I love the handshake at the end.
Yeah.
Captain Kelly.
Yes. Our thanks to Virgin as well for their support of the ultimate pit stop competition very recently too in the lead up to the Castrol Gold Coast 600. Let's bounce through some news before the checkered flag falls on the show tonight. We've talked in recent episodes about the licensing system for supercars, and that is going to change.
Yes, so that has been thought of and spoken about a lot, and a lot of common sense, I think, has been prevailed in terms of the way that the licensing system is going to work. Effectively a super licence from here on in.
Good thing?
For drivers, yeah.
Yes.
Where's the downside?
No.
I mean, it's going to make sure that the drivers coming in have the required experience, and they'll be a lot better off for it. And I think the drivers have been calling for this, haven't you, basically?
Well, I'm super enough. I don't need a licence to tell me so.
Well, maybe not you.
I was worried they might take it off me.
But collectively, the drivers seem to be in favour.
I think so. You know, when you have young guys coming, there's got to be some
yeah.
kind of standard. You know, we're meant to be. We all like to say we're meant to be one, the better drivers in Australia. So to get to that level, there should be some kind of standard for sure.
Right. Racing entitlement contracts for 2017. I know that there's a lot of clarity there, but you're also delving into detail about where drivers are going to move to and things like that, aren't you?
There's going to be some movement with 2, maybe 3 key recs that are coming onto the market, but they've all been registered for next season. And I think they have at least until the end of January then to do some more deals. But they'll come into play. A lot of the spotlight at the moment is on what's happening with the 2 entries for Lucas Dumbrell Motorsport. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Did you think the silly season was over?
No.
No, it is not. Good call, Scapey.
How good that I'm not in it, though.
Yeah,
That's great. You've ticked it.
Yeah, finally stopped talking about you.
Fill us in.
No, Garth Tander. His situation is nowhere near as settled as he would like. I think he had big plans to set up his own operation. That seems to have hit a hiccup, but apparently he's back in the frame for the Gary Rogers Motorsport Volvo drive to replace Scott McLaughlin. It's definitely, it appears now, my sources say it's between Garth and their protege James Golding as to who will get that second seat alongside James Moffat. Now, Jason Bright, and we've talked about this for quite a long time now, but it's apparent that he's moving on from Brad Jones Racing. Nick Percat is slotting into that seat. Jason Bright, I'm hearing around the traps, is looking to take his racing entitlements contract, which he has had parked at Brad Jones Racing, somewhere else, run a different operation. He would certainly be involved in the Enduros as a co-driver, but I think he's looking to hook up with a young driver to bring someone up into the main game. That driver, bringing the necessary sponsorship. So I think Brighty will still be around, but he may be going back to Semi being a team owner. So still a lot to play yet in the silly season and getting all the final driver lineups and team lineups are finalised.
And another headline in the past week, and it involves our colleague Mark Skay. Fantastic to see he and Russell Ingall pairing up together along with Tony Longhurst in this for the Bathurst 12-hour. Who would have ever thought the day would come where you two would be teammates?
That's very true, Rusty. That would, 10 years ago, wouldn't even be contemplated. Left-hand drive, paddle shift, ABS, traction control, all the stuff, Davey.
All the easy stuff.
It's like being at an Xbox game.
Now you're a gentleman driver, my friend.
Gentleman, exactly.
I was the one that got you two to shake hands for a Daily Telegraph story at Sydney a couple of years ago. I'm not really responsible for all of this.
That was hard enough at the time.
The handshake, it was a huge moment.
It's a good bit of kit, and Scafey, Russell and Tony will have some good seat time between now and the 12-hour next year in February. We wish them well with that. Our thanks to all of the guests on the panel tonight. Have a fantastic GC 600 this weekend. We'll see you boys up there in work mode. Of course, you'll catch all the action right here on Fox Sports, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Don't forget you can follow us on social media. Use the hashtag InsideSupercars. Catch you next week. Bye for now.